It's happening! It's happening! Class 1A versus Class 1B! I'm so hype! Okay, you guys know I love Class 1B. I don't know why. I just do, so I'm so hype. But anyway, with that said, hello everybody! Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another one of our weekly My Hero Academia Season 5 discussion videos. Today we're here to talk all about Episode 3, Clash, Class A versus Class B. But before we get to the video proper, quick reminder if you haven't done so yet, to hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, set notifications to all, let all of AniTube know that you're here. Without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and jump into it. Class 1A versus Class 1B! I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I can't explain why I like Class B. I just do. I think it really comes down to the fact that I just love Monoma. Like, Monoma's such a, he's just a lot, and I just like him a lot. There's something about the smug douchebags, but actually have a heart of gold. Like those type of characters who are like the conniving. They're a bit of an ass, but like there's something about them that is inherently good. Like those are the kind of characters that I love, and I love Monoma. He's such a little shit. I love this dude. I absolutely love this kid. Monoma's just the man. He's my son. You know, he's my idiot loudmouth son, right next to my other idiot loudmouth son in Bakugo. I absolutely adore these characters. I like Class 1B a lot. I like Kendo. I love Tetsu. Pony seems cool. Setsuna seems cool. Like a lot of the Beast characters seems cool. A lot of the Class B characters seem really fun and interesting. Ibara, I believe, like the tree girl, she's great. But like a lot of these characters, like they haven't really gotten chances to shine, right? We see a little bit of it. Like we saw it a bit when they all went on like that class field trip. Like Tetsu got to really shine along with Kendo. But like a lot of the Class B characters haven't had much time in the spotlight. And I feel like this arc is really trying to like freshen that up. And All Might brings up a really good point about Class B, that they actually have a leg up against Class A, and that being that while Class A has constantly been like struggling against all these different adversities, like they're constantly finding themselves in trouble and issues where like they can't go to class because things are going down. Like they have practical real world hero experience. The difference is Class B, they're actually being taught the curriculum. They are being taught what it means to be a hero. They are actually going through the classes, going through the motions, and getting stuff done. Like they know what to do in these situations. They just haven't had the same real world experiences that Class A have. It's very easy for us to just say, well, obviously Class 1A is better because they're our main characters. You know, like Class 1A, they're the class that we know. But that's not really the case, because it's like Class B has the proper experience, the tools and knowledge. They just don't have like the experience in wielding that. Class A has just been thrown in the deep end, told to swim. You know, like that's the difference between the two. And I'm curious, just in the same way that All Might is, to see how that pans out, because there's so many variables that are at play, right? Like there's so many things, like Deku as an example, right? Like Deku's had so much real world experience, right? But other characters like Monoma have been studying. They know their quirk in and out, right? Like they know like procedure. They know what to do in this situation. They know how to handle that situation. They know like team mechanics and like the intricacies of being a hero. Like they actually have not practical, but they actually have proper knowledge, just not the experience in wielding it. Whereas all Deku has is past experiences, right? Like he hasn't actually, like, not that Aizawa's not teaching them, he is, but it's just they haven't had as much time in the oven, right? So at the end of the day, it's gonna come down to which is better, a little bit of knowledge with a lot of practical experience, or a little bit of practical experience with a lot of knowledge. Like that's what it's gonna come down to. Because don't forget, Class B, like I said, also has had some real world experience as well, right? Like they've been doing like their co-op stuff. They've been in situations where they had to actually fight real villains, like we saw like way long ago during the class field trip. So we know that like they can handle themselves. It's just like who's gonna win. I just think it's interesting. Honestly, I almost said honestly again. I feel like I might get in hot water for this with some people. I hope Class B sweeps. Like, I really want Class B to sweep just to show people, because I know so many people are like, Class 1A versus Class 1B. That's how we're starting season 5. Man, that sucks. And I'm like, screw you. I care about the academia part of My Hero Academia. I'm gonna be honest with you, the One for All stuff, we will talk about it. It's interesting. I don't care that much. My thing is I like that they're studying to be heroes. It's why I started watching this show. This journey from student to possibly even being a teacher. That is what is interesting to me. These journeys from newbie hero all the way to seasoned experienced superhero. That's what is interesting to me about My Hero. The One for All stuff, don't get me wrong, I'm interested, right? I'm curious. I'm definitely interested. And I am gonna speculate a little bit as we go. But my big thing, the thing that I love is whenever it ties back to the academia stuff. I like the idea of just seeing these characters grow and evolve. That to me is the interesting part of My Hero. Yes, Horikoshi has a story that he wants to tell, and yes, I'm very curious to see how that pans out. However, the school is where my heart is, right? The school is where I am the most interested in the series. Not to say that, when we focus on stuff that's not involving the school that I'm not interested. I am. It's just that's home, the school is home, right? It's just, yeah, again, I'm not bashing the One for All stuff. I'm not bashing Horikoshi doing stuff outside the school. Obviously, the stuff outside the school has been some of my favorite parts of the show. But it's just that this is home, I like this kind of stuff. So the idea that we're actually going to see an actual battle between the two classes, that's fun. Action. You guys know, all I ask for in a show, all I really ask for in my favorites is give me hype moments and fun, possibly shippable characters, right? And that's what you're getting this arc. I cannot believe there's people complaining. Get off your damn high horse. Just go rewatch Attack on Titan final season, okay? If that's what you want to do, I ain't gonna blame you. Final season's dope. But if you want deep intricacies, go watch something else. Maybe My Hero ain't for you. This right now, this arc, this is about pure hype. This is about the hypoo. This is about seeing characters you love, duking it out, okay? I love these characters. I love Monoma. I want to see Monoma use his quirk. I want to see Monoma copy One for All so bad. I was so hyped when I saw that he's gonna fight Deku. I'm like, yes! And the fact that Shinso is there. I haven't even talked about Shinso yet. Oh my god, I haven't even talked about Shinso yet. Shinso already starts this episode, and he's in the heat of battle, right? Immediately tossed into the deep end. And I'm okay with that, because Shinso's the absolute man. Shinso can take care of himself, okay? I know people are oh, Shinso's gonna be this, weight tied around our ankle, and I get it, right? He hasn't had the same experiences that the rest of the crew has had. I understand. However, it is very clear, A, by the fact that next week's animation be looking clean as hell, but also the fact that we actually see him at first with Aizawa, right? And it's that's interesting, right? And then I think about the poster and I go, now that I think about it, Shinso's looking a lot like Aizawa. That's weird, right? And then seeing him with Aizawa, it's all kind of coming together. I'm like, oh my god, is he the Deku to Aizawa's All Might? Is that what's happening? Has Aizawa's taken him under his wing? That's sick, right? It'd be great if that wasn't spoiled for me in the poster and by manga fans. Unfortunately, yeah, I kind of knew about this, not gonna lie. But that's pretty sick, the idea that he's been training with Aizawa, that's super cool. It's clear in this episode that that's what's been happening. I don't know how long that's been going on for. I just know that clearly that's a thing that's been happening. Not a big spoiler to know, so I wasn't really annoyed when manga fans are like, dude, I can't wait till you see Aizawa and Shinso. I'm like, cool. Would have been nice to see that, but that's not a big spoiler, so who cares? But just the fact that he's there is dope. You know what I didn't know about? I didn't know about the vocal changer thing. What do they call it? The vocal persona or whatever, persona something, persona voice or something like that. It's a cool name for his new piece of equipment. Did May build that? Because it seems like a May invention. But that is super sick. He's able to use the one dude from Class B's voice to trick Beast and just gets him to sort of sit still. And he's like, I gotcha. And I'm like, God, that is so cool. It's like the voice changer thing from Scream 3, except it's not dumb. You know, like that, it's super cool. Like the fact that Shinso has that. And the raps. I'm so curious if he's gonna be doing some Aizawa stuff with the raps. Like if he's gonna be like throwing it out and like catching people and wrapping them up. Like we see Aizawa do that to Monoma at one point to tell him to shut up. So I'm curious to see if like Shinso can like whip people with the raps and like tie them up and stuff like that. I'm doing it with my hands. I don't know if you could hear it, but like, oh, it's so sick. Like, everything about that was so hype. I was so hyped. The new costume is awesome. The fact that it, like, covers his mouth, because that's, like, his weapon, right? If I was in My Hero, I'd probably have something similar, because my quirk would definitely be in some way related to me talking, let's be real. But, like, the fact that Shinso's, like, face mask covers his mouth, that's sick. I love it. It makes him look like, again, like, it makes him look kind of sinister. And, like, his quirk itself is kind of sinister. But we know that Shinso is a good dude. He's a genuinely good dude. And we've seen that in the past during his fight with Deku. And I like that it comes back into play here, right? We see people be like, that's a cool quirk. And then when he's asked, like, hey, do you want to, like, give a speech to everybody here? He's like, yeah, for sure. And his speech is, I ain't here to make friends. He's just honest, you know, like, it's just, I ain't here to make friends. Listen, you guys are in my way. I'm desperate. I'm trying to get into this hero course. I want to show people that I'm a hero. That, yeah, my quirk might be what some people can consider sinister, but I'm a good person, and I'm going to use this quirk to do good things. You guys are in my way. I'm trying to get into the hero course. If my boy doesn't get into the hero course, Horikoshi, we're going to have words, okay? Like, I am very much excited to see Shinso get into the hero course, but which class is he going to be in? Is it going to be class 1A or would it be class 1B? I don't know, but I want to see it. You know, I want to see it happen. Like, this is a lot, okay? This is a lot. Like, I'm like, my emotions are very high right now, if you can't tell. Like, this whole thing, like, the fact that we actually get to see him in action with Kaminari, my boy Denki, actually gets, like, some moments, like, to shine, sort of, right? Because, like, they establish, and I like this, they establish that, like, the Class 1A characters remember a lot of their fights with the Class 1B characters, right? And everybody remember, like, Ojiro actually remembers the fight with Shinso, which, like, obviously he would remember. It's not like it's been a long time ago, but it's a nice callback to people who remember that fight, where Ojiro is just like, oh shit, it's Shinso, right? And everyone's like, oh snap. And, like, Denki remembers Ibara, who I believe that's her name, like the tree girl, he remembers losing, because, like, her quirk is scary. And it's cool. It's, like, all these fun callbacks. It's like, yo, this is actually not, like, the first time they've faced off. It's actually, like, a series of rematches, almost. And I'm, like, really, really excited. And it's funny because as excited as I am for Class 1B, and you guys clearly have heard me rant about Class 1B, I am excited. One of the things I think I'm the most excited about in regards to this particular arc, like this Class 1A versus Class 1B, it's Shinso. Like, Shinso being there, he's like the wild card in the group, right? He's like the one who it's going to be hard to tell what he's going to do. And I like that. I like that he's this, like, just this enigma. He's this monkey wrench. He's this, like, uncalculable problem, right? Because before, like, if it was Class 1A versus Class 1B, it would have been hype, right? But now there's this element of, like, okay, now each member has this team of 5 versus 4, right? Like, each class has at least one part where instead of being a 4 versus 4, it's a 5 versus 4. They got to take each other down to the point where they incapacitate the other 4 members and throw them into their jail, which is this, like, cute little jail cell looking thing. I know I just said cute jail cell looking thing. I know that seems weird, but you're gonna have to trust me. But at least once of those 4 versus 4s, there's gonna be a 5 versus 4, which does give the team of 5 an advantage in terms of numbers, but obviously Shinso doesn't have the same experience, nor was he really taught the same things. So it's gonna be both a hindrance, but also an advantage at the same time. However, I think the thing that people aren't expecting is the fact that clearly Shinso's been training on his off time. Like, clearly Shinso and Aizawa have been, like, putting in work. I want to see it. Like, don't think that you could just hint at that. I want to see that. Like, show me some flashbacks. Like, show me, like, the impetus. What caused that? When did Aizawa and Shinso even, like, notice? Like, you know what I mean? Like, when... I need to know when this started. I need to see, like, I need to see, like, a training arc with Aizawa and Shinso, you know? I want to see this. I want to see it play out. So show me, Bones. Show me, Horikoshi. I want to see it. But yeah, obviously, I'm super hyped for the Class 1A versus Class 1B stuff. That's where my heart is. That's what I'm excited for this arc. However, it is cool, and speaking of Shinso, interesting that the One For All stuff is happening. And the reason for that is the fact that we notice that, we are reminded, rather, that Deku, I almost said Denki, but I came out as Denku. That's their ship name, I guess. But Deku is reminded of the fight with Shinso, where he's like, when I was gonna walk out of the ring, I saw the vestiges of One for All. And it's interesting now that it's coming back up. And as he's like preparing, he's like, okay, I have to put the One for All stuff on the back burner. But he thinks about it and he's like, actually, now that, like, that's when I first saw it. It was something to do with the brainwashing that caused me to see it. So my thing is, Deku's already had this moment where he's seeing the original One for All user, right? Like, he's seeing the originator. So it's like, okay, like, and he told him you're at 20%, but obviously it's gonna haunt Deku, he's gonna want to know more. He was gonna want to know what happens next to the original One for All user. Like, where the hell did he end up, right? Like, what happened to him? He's gonna want to know. I guarantee you there's gonna be some moment between Deku and Shinso where Shinso's gonna use the brainwashing thing and Deku's gonna see some more stuff, right? So there's something about Shinso that is something about his quirk specifically that is allowing Deku to maybe, like, see One for All and maybe even talk to them again. Like, so I think that that's going to play a part. Like, we even see in the OP, like, when Shinso, like, sees Deku, like, Deku launches back, like, ready for a punch, but then he sees the One for All members for a second. And then we snap back to the fight during the OP. So it's like, okay, that's gonna happen. Like, we're gonna get that in the show, but it's gonna obviously be expanded. So that has me very curious. And my thing is, like, Deku has been handling this on his own for a while, like a champ, right? Like, Deku has been battling the One for All thing on his own for a while now. We see him even, like, lying to my boy, like, just saying, like, no, everything's fine, don't worry about it. Aoyama shows up in his goddamn PJs just to check on Deku, and he tells him, like, no, everything's fine. And it's like, bro, just tell him what's going on. And that made me think about, of all things, The Flash. CW's The Flash. Remember Team Flash? Remember how Barry had, like, a group of people he could rely on? Deku didn't have that for the longest time. He had All Might, and that was it. He didn't really have anybody else he could tell. He can kind of talk to Bakugo now, at least. But I feel like he should have, like, his own Team Deku, Like, there should be Team Deku. Like, people who know the One for All secret and can help tap into this stuff. Get Mei to help with equipment. Have Bakugo be there as this sort of, like, confidant. Have Shinso help you activate those memories. That's stuff that All Might never really thought of or had the chance to do, So it's like, do that. Like, maybe having a Team Deku might be a good thing. Learn from the CW is something I never thought I'd say, but here we are. But, like, that might be a cool direction for Deku if he wants to go that way. I'm not telling him he has to, but, like, it's, I don't know. Like, Horikoshi, do whatever. It's your story, okay? And I'm liking where you're going with it. I'm just tossing ideas out there. And you've probably already written way past this part, so it doesn't matter. I don't know where we are in the manga. But the other thing that's brought up during this point is that Deku saw things and had interactions that All Might never did. Like, All Might's like, you talked to the original One for All? That's weird. Like, I never did that. Like, and I appreciate that he told him, like, that's not something that ever happened to me. So it's like, there's something about you specifically. Because, like, Nana never, that never happened to Nana, so he's like, okay, something about you specifically. Like, I don't know what it is, but, like, we gotta figure out what that is. So I believe her name is Nana. Is that the predecessor's name? Is that the girl's name? I don't remember. She's cute though, and I like that they're like, yo, she's cute, and he's like, I know, right? Like, that's sweet. I like that. All Might's mentor. I appreciate that. I believe her name is Nana. I could be wrong. Let me know. I'm probably wrong. But they talk about that. They also talk about the quirk singularity, which I think is interesting. The quirk singularity reminds me of the friggin' singularity. What is that band's name? World Order? The song Singularity? Whatever, it doesn't matter. Singularity. Again, this is a situation. This and the whole One for All thing in general, where I'm like, this is interesting. I don't care to speculate because I'm not interested in this right now. My priorities are elsewhere right now, you know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong, this is interesting. Keep doing this, Horikoshi. I'm very interested in the singularity. I'm very interested in what's going on for One for All. But Class 1A versus Class 1B, though. You know what I mean? Hype beast mode. I am distracted. We are gonna have to talk about this interesting plot developments later. There are fights happening right now, and that's where my attention is. But I do think the singularity is interesting, especially given what we know about like the Todorokis and all that stuff. So I think it's all gonna. It feels like poetry. It's rhyming, you know, like it's all coming together and it's all mishmashing together in a really interesting way. And but again, I don't really care right now. Show me Class 1A versus Class 1B. So with that said, everybody, that's going to be pretty much all my thoughts on this week's episode. So I'm going to wrap up today's video here. If you did, don't forget to boop that up snoot, share if you care, leave a comment down below, and of course, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, set notifications to all, let all of AnyTube know that you're here. And before we go, as always, I want to give a big thank you to the good folks in the T Squadron. Look at these beautiful people. Look at all these beautiful names, and hey, if you would like to join these beautiful people, there are 2 ways to do so. The first way is by hitting that Patreon link in the description for just a single $1. You can see your name scrolling past the screen here. It's a big help. Or you can hit that join button right beside the sub button. That gets you a badge next to your name, some emotes to spam in the comments, and of course your name scrolling past the screen here. Either way, it is super appreciated. So once again, a big thank you to the good folks in the T Squadron, and man, I'm excited. I don't know, can you tell? I am very excited. I got nothing else to say. Just give me more Class 1A versus Class 1B, please. Just give me more hype. But until then, bye!